Are there others like you?
I don't know. I haven't been able to find any.
don't mind, would you introduce yourself for the podcast?
Sure. My name is Alap, Momin.
My name is Jan Johansen.
And the band that you play for is?
Third Culture Kings.
And with us today is also?
Paulus Van Horn.
And the band that you play for is?
Paulus Van Horn.
Nice.
Solo noise.
So right now we are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, upstairs from Tandang Store, where you guys are playing. Sorry, is this the first show?
Yes.
First show on the tour, yeah.
And your third show overall, is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. I want to talk about this tour a little bit, and I also want to talk about how you got here to Malaysia. But let's explain the concept behind your name, Third Culture Kings, because that's a term that I heard for the first time maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I grew up in the Philippines, but my family is Malaysian Indian, and I lived in New York for quite some time. And so I'm, my parents were from one culture, I grew up in a second culture, and now I'm living in a third culture.
Yeah.
Is that more or less what third culture means?
Yeah, we were having mad good talks in the studio when we started recording together. Half of the time was just spent in deep conversation, and I was talking about different things, and I was like, yeah, you sound like, I was saying to Alap, I was born in the Faroe Islands. My parents moved to Denmark, and then my dad was a missionary, and I went with him to Jamaica, Mexico. I grew up on a ship around that area in America, and so we were talking about different things, how you feel sometimes connected to any country you go to, yet your home country you don't really feel. There's some things that you've missed out on in your formative years or whatever, and you just always feel alienated somehow, yet belong anywhere. And we're talking about this, and Alap had never heard. The term.
And it was kind of mind blowing because as he was saying, I was
like,
having flashbacks to that moment.
I was like, it's called Third Culture Kid. Yeah, and then you were like, well, we are both.
Well, that's what I was going to say. My half of the third culture thing was, so my family immigrated to America in '69 from India. I was raised in New Jersey, just outside of New York City. And my community was basically Italian, Jewish, and Irish at the time. You had some Polish, some Eastern European. But they were not white people. Like, they were not white Americans. They were ethnic white. Like, they were immigrants, too. Some of my Italian friends' parents didn't speak English. My first time having, Chinese spare ribs was in a Chinese kid's house. My first time in pierogies was in a Polish kid's house. My first time at Sicilian pizza was from scratch from Roberto's mother. So there was a lot of diversity where I grew up, but not a lot of Indians. We were the first Indians. And when they used to ask me in 1982, oh, you're Indian, what tribe are you, they would say. They didn't know what the fuck Indians were, I'm sorry. Is it okay to...
Yeah, absolutely.
So they didn't... I'm sorry. Hi. They didn't know what Indians were in the 80s, and I'm old. And so we were like the first Indians to kind of come into the culture of America at that time. And so in the beginning, it was really rough. I got like the Italians, the Italians I grew up was like a Sopranos kind of town. So when, I'm not even kidding, like when I would go to school, I was like 8 years old, it was like, yo, Dom's dad got killed in a mob hit, they got Frankie's dad, they found him in the Hudson. Like, it was that type of shit, And then the whole attitude was like, there's two kinds of people, Italians and those that want to be Italian. That was the whole thing, right? So my whole life up until I was like maybe 12 or 13, I was just getting kicked around by Italians, and they would come to my parents' house, like they were just mad racist, like crazy kind of upbringing. And then when I was like 13, actually when I was like 9, I discovered punk rock. And then by the time I was like 11 or 12, I got really into hip hop. And those musics gave me a form of escape from the conditions I was growing up in. It wasn't financially bad, it was a middle class neighborhood, but emotionally and mentally it was very abusive, I guess, right? So I started going to the city. It was only like a 30, 40-minute bus ride from where I was. We would take our skateboards and go into the city, and we would go to CBGBs and see all these bands. And downtown at that time, like this was like 87 to 92 was my sort of like 13 to 17, like that was my formative years. And at that time, New York City, Miami, and LA had punk scenes that were dominated by minorities, like Puerto Ricans in New York, black kids in New York were dominating the hardcore scene. In Miami, it was the Cubans. In LA, it was the Chicanos, the Mexicans. Everywhere else, punk was like a suburban white thing. Yeah. But in those three places, it was really ethnic and really mixed up. So you'd have like Jewish kids at the shows, Puerto Rican kids at the shows, Italian kids at the shows, all downtown, the Bowery or whatever. And I just started seeing all these little Puerto Rican kids that were like 4 feet tall, just taking dudes down, like street fight, like Golden Glove boxers. They were the scariest people in the city. Chris Rock used to always say, like, I'm not afraid of black people. He's like, I'm afraid of Puerto Ricans, you know? Like, they were running shit. And people thought I was Puerto Rican, I guess, because I didn't act like a typical Indian kid or whatever, and I was really into, like hardcore and dance hall and metal and punk and hip-hop and stuff.
I need to interject really quick, because I'm also Indian.
Sure.
When I was in New York, everyone thought I was Puerto Rican.
Right, of course. You're Dominican. I would have thought you were Dominican, maybe. Yeah.
Including my roommate's father, who's Puerto Rican, born and raised in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Who, like, after like a week of staying with, he's like, I thought you were Puerto Rican.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
I actually have Puerto Rican friends that look more Arabic
Yeah.
or more Middle Eastern than I do, you know?
Yeah.
And so what I noticed what happened is when I would be in New York, I'd be walking down the Bowery and white people would cross the street. They'd be terrified. They would think I was Puerto Rican. And I was really like skater. I was in good shape and kind of scrawny. And I was really angry at the world. And so I linked up with a sick crew. It was like, and it was mixed back then. Like the LA gangs were like, you're Spanish or you're black or whatever. But in New York, it was like the Vietnamese kids hung out, the Thai kids hung out, the fucking Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans. It was like everybody was involved, right? Polish kids, Irish kids.
So just real quick, can you explain what a crew is? Because I'm not sure if people around here understand crews.
Like a clique, a posse.
Yeah.
Like it
Not necessarily a gang. It's like
it wasn't
people
really a
hang out
gang. It
with.
was just a crew of people. We all hung out, but they were gang members. I mean, I wasn't a gang member, but I was affiliated. And these kids were from Brooklyn. They were from uptown, downtown. The scariest kids were the Puerto Ricans and the Irish. The Irish were the number one. They were the first ones in New York that really set up the street gang culture. You saw gangs in New York. I hung out with the great grandkids of the guys in that movie, the maniacs, you know, hammers, claw hammering dudes. It was so brutal, 80s New York, so brutal. But it gave me strength and power because no one fucked with me. Everyone thought I was a maniac, and then I was 13. All my homies were 19, 20 years old, and they were all hood kids. And I'm coming out of the suburbs of Jersey getting my ass kicked, and now I'm hanging out with murderers, you know? And I'm like, okay, fuck these motherfuckers. And I started bringing these guys back to Jersey, and then it was on from the age of 13 to like 18, just fighting Italians everywhere, just fighting Italians. And like all my first girlfriends were Italians, so nothing against Italians, you know, my best friends were Italians, but there was also the shitty Italians, just like every culture, right? So, point is that I never really felt Indian, and I never really felt like I was accepted in America. So I felt like it was funny that when he brought up this whole concept of how he was raised with a third culture, although I didn't live in all these different countries, New York is 1,500 different countries in itself, you know? So in a strange way, like I always said, I was too American for Indian people. Like Indian people didn't really fuck with me, and then I was too Indian for Americans, you know? So I didn't really fit anywhere. I was in this sort of third culture that was my own. And it was funny, as I started touring, I was in a group called Dialect, and we would tour everywhere. And when I first went to Italy, I'm thinking like, yo, here we go, Ireland, here we go. I got to bring a knife or some kind of weapon, like thinking back to my youth. Everybody was mad cool. It was not like the Italian-American experience I had or the Irish were actually really cool growing up. Because they were a minority in my town too, but they were a tough minority. So they were the only people that could actually fight back against the Italians, you know, and they could take it. But so the point is that when I went to Italy or I went to Ireland, I was like, this guy was in my homeroom. Or like even in Israel, like the Jewish kids, I was like, this guy was like in my freaking gym class. You know, everyone just looked mad familiar, and it just dawned on me. It was like when I go to India, I know I'm an outsider. Like I could feel everyone's like they know I'm American, you know. But when I'm in Italy or Ireland, I feel like I'm in my mother countries. Like I get it, and it just started to dawn. Like a lot of my like enemies growing up, they also gave me a lot of culture. They gave me an attitude. They gave me swag. Like all the black girls in Harlem were always like, "Damn, you Indian, you got swag." You know, like that's where I got it. You know, so in a way, it became this third culture. Even though I didn't leave, you know, America, but I got a third culture somehow. So that's how we sort of. I'm sorry it took so long to get there.
That's interesting. It's really interesting because what you said about going somewhere that's not your country where you didn't grow up and all of a sudden you feel at home. I went back to Texas like 20 years after, you know, like I grew up partly there, and I'm more like a New York kind of person and LA kind of person. I lived in both places, and
at this point we should describe your hat so that people know what you're talking about.
I bought a woman's hat in the store today. I love it. But I went back to Texas and I found an interaction with people that I hadn't had. All of a sudden I recognized something, a way, and I was there with an American person, and she could not relate in the same way that I could relate to these Texans. There was a banter, there was a thing that all of a sudden I was like, yeah, wait a minute, I used to live here. I used to converse like this, I slap back into like Southern.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I love
and even when I meet Jamaicans in Denmark,
But that's why you play the blues so
I go
right. That's why you play the blues
Thank
right.
you, sir.
Yeah. No white
I
guys
slap
play the
back
blues
into
right.
patois. It's weird. It's weird having grown up like that. You recognize, but yeah, then you
can
were
play the blues like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, I know. Of course I can.
You can.
Yes.
But it's stoner Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect.
So that's when I was talking about this third culture kings thing and kids, and you're like, we're third culture kings.
Yeah, we're the kings of third culture.
Yeah, 3CK.
And I should say, your shirt actually has like crown on it.
Yeah, I'm an Indian prince.
Yeah, this is Indian Prince. I bought him that yesterday.
Yeah, I tell everybody I'm an Indian prince.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting concept because it doesn't relate to you guys, not just personally, but also musically, because you come from one music background. You mentioned Alak, you mentioned like the experimental hip hop that you guys are doing, and you come from a shoegaze background.
Yeah.
Your band was called Glowbox?
Glory Box.
Glory Box, sorry.
Yeah, and I play in a band right now in Denmark as well. That's kind of rock
Yeah.
and roll. Yeah.
And then Third Culture Kings is, obviously there's, the melding of those two influences, but I don't even know how to describe what you guys do.
Right.
Like, it's not hip hop, it's not shoegaze, it's
Right.
not.
Yeah, it's very third culture.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what we are.
It's that melting pot.
I think that was a big part of why we, as cocky as we sound right now, I think that was really a big part of it. It was like we got the name as we were developing the sound.
Yeah.
So it was very related. The story he told me of himself and this whole concept related to me. But then as we were making the record, we felt the same way you did. It's the universe. We got a universal sound. Even Dialect, we strived for that, but I think we excluded a lot of different perspectives in our sound. It's very masculine, aggressive, male dominated, and I had gotten sick of that, and that's why I had quit in like 2010. I moved to Berlin and I got really bit by the techno thing. That brought me back to Detroit techno, where the roots of it are. That brought me to Chicago house. That brought me back to New York disco. Once it came back to New York, I understood it. If it comes from New York, I get it. You don't even explain it to me. It's right there, And I could hear in Gangstar, the disco that they borrowed, they weren't sampling funk and James Brown. They were sampling disco records. But I didn't grow up on disco records, so I didn't understand that. And also, all this stuff was gay and black. When I was a kid fighting Italians, they were listening to club music. They were driving around to IROCs, like, skate or die, faggot, and they were listening to like CNC Music Factory and Snap, but they were also listening to hardcore disco, hardcore black music, hardcore techno shit, like hardcore rave shit. But they were Guidos, driving around. And it just all started coming back to me. Like, I always thought that was just like Italians fuck with that. And then and I even liked a lot of it as guilty pleasure, but you can't, fuck with your enemy's music when you're young. You have to pick a team and all that. So like, what I started in Berlin with the minimal techno thing got me to the real soul of techno and the heart of it, which was Detroit, which really comes from Chicago house, which really comes from New York disco, right? Larry Levan, Frankie Knuckles, they brought that shit down to Chicago, right? So once it came back to me, it was like there's a female perspective there that I never represented. There's a gay perspective there that I never represented with Dialect or my hardcore bands. I was in tons of hardcore bands before I was in Dialect. I've been making violent male music since I was like 9 years old. And at 35, I was burnt on it. I'd mastered it. We went out with the Melvins, 100 shows. Some weird hip-hop group opened, but they were louder than the Melvins, I wanted to be heavier than Slade. I wanted to outdo the heaviest of that, but that was still a straight white male heavy. There's no real power in that. It's just loud. And it got easy with Dialect. Just put distortion on it, just put feedback, just make noise, and then white people will respond, oh, great. But you know what? Like, what about the women out there? What about the black guys out there? What about the gay people out there? And when I discovered the club scene, it was like, this is their punk rock. This is their underground music. And I didn't see it that way as a kid. I saw it as like, like everybody sees it. But once you get to the soul of what it really is and you feel the power, I called it the new heavy. I was on a search for the new heavy. I mastered the old heavy. I started getting into Slayer when I was 11. I got into Metallica and all that stuff when I was 11. I was listening to Dead Kennedys when I was 9. You know what I mean? That's over. By the time I was 17, I was over all that stuff. Why am I still making music that I'm over when I was 17? I'm 35. I need new perspectives,
It's weird. I was listening to Amy Grant when I was 9.
That's cool too.
Yeah. No, I know it's cool.
But so I'm sorry, I don't want to draw it out. But the point is that it's important, especially as an aging musician, aging artist, you've mastered your perspectives that you grew up on. Now you got to make your dick hard again and be 13 again. How are you going to do that? You got to find some shit that's at the new CBGBs. Not literally. I didn't care when they closed CBGBs. That shit was garbage in 93. It was great from 87 to 92. By 93 it sucked. When they closed, I was like, nobody here has been to this club in 15 years. Why are you crying? You weren't even here. And then you got to find your new CBGBs. Energy doesn't die, energy changes form. So the energy you felt at a punk show, I'm now feeling at a disco or at a house party. And I'm feeling it Vogue. I go to these Vogue parties. I'm the only not black, only straight guy in the room. They're all trans. They're all black on 39th Street. You live in the city? 39th Street on Monday nights from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. They're Vogue battles. They're DJ Mike Q. This is like mosh parts for gay people, mosh parts for trans people, mosh parts for chicks, that's what I want to do. I don't want to write mosh parts for the same guys. And I used to worry, like, dialect, it's shit is so heavy, like, maybe there's these fucking assholes and tanks in Iraq killing innocent kids listening to my music. Like, I'm not trying to empower the people that have the power, And dialect, I think, was important. I needed to do it, and it was real. I wasn't acting. That's how I felt. But by 35, I didn't feel like that anymore. And I remember thinking, like, there's got to be another way to be heavy. And that's when this whole concept came. And I'm not gay, I'm not black, and I'm not a chick. So all of a sudden, I got to be writing from these perspectives that I'm not. You know how hard that is to do? It took me 8 years to get this sound. 8 years of, like, depressing. He was there right from the get-go. Me and him did this album that we're touring on 5 years ago. We did it in 2013 to 2014. It's not even new, but it just took that long to get comfortable with this whole new language we were speaking. And when you say earlier, the sound is third culture, it truly is, because now we do have a gay perspective in there. We have a trans perspective. We have a black perspective, a female perspective. The dialect thing was only black and white, and it was only male. And sure, some women fucked with us, and we had some feminine stuff in there. I always had women influences, but it was tucked behind the male macho-ness. I wanted to strip that back and get vulnerable, get deep. I work with women in studios now. I only work with women. I only work with 14 to 25-year-old clients. I don't fuck with anyone over 25. John Spencer, and maybe this guy. But I don't fuck with too many older clients. And I noticed, like, women make you work harder in the studio. They don't just get turned on by a bunch of noise, man. It's like, where's the space? Where's the tone? Where's the bass? You got to hit them in a certain way. And when I see the girls, especially the black girls up in Harlem, you see them move when you hit that bass right. I got the Italian girls coming in, the black girls coming in, the Spanish girls coming in. They all say the same thing. As soon as I put that track up on, you know my system. As soon as I put that stuff with that sub hits, that 808 hits, every girl in my room goes, ooh, I love that bass that shakes the trunks. Everyone says that. Oh, I love that bass that shakes the whole car. They don't even know it's an 808. They don't give a fuck. It's some drum machine that's, it's valuable. No, they feel something. It's not here. And as a straight guy, you know how hard it is to find that in yourself? And I got it, and he's always had it, So when we came together, we were able to put much more, I call it womb music, I call it mosh parts for chicks, like, it's something much deeper than just putting feedback and distortion on it, making it loud. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I was 20-something once, you need that at that age,
it's interesting the way you describe your music and your development. It reminds me a lot of what some of my friends are going through, where, you know, originally it was straight or gay, or straight or, you know, something else.
Sure.
And now it's binary or non-binary. And it sounds like you guys are discovering non-binary music. It's not...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's not the distortion pedal and, like, you know, hitting the bass drum as hard as you can. It's everything that you don't hear the first time around.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to jump in with that?
Yeah, I was wondering, you talked about the place of so many of these musics. You talk about minimal techno in Berlin. You talk about music in New York and Chicago, the people that it brings. So what is the place of third culture kids? What is, like, the place that you feel most at home for your music, or for even the venue that you want your music played in?
See, that's different for us, I think because
we've talked about this actually too.
Yeah.
You're asking great questions.
I do listen to things that Alap is done with. I do listen to things.
He's a songwriter, though. It's important.
I do listen to things that Alap recommends. I've lately gotten much more into, like, the modern R&B. I've kind of understood it. I've always been into older R&B and, like, roots music.
And you grew up on gospel, dude. That's
I grew up on gospel.
You grew up on black church music.
Yeah.
You grew up with that,
so
you know everything.
Exactly. So I'm discovering some things and some mad good productions. Like J. Paul is a big new influence on me, but he also has the songs. I'm the songwriter, but I can appreciate where we're going, and about the production. Alap is the producer, but we get ideas together, and we totally.
Yeah, it's not like I make beats and he just sings on.
Yeah,
them or
no,
whatever.
it's a synergy.
Fused. But going back to what you're saying, as far as like where this music should be presented, we've talked about this a lot too. And what I didn't have with Dialect was very all or nothing. Like, if the sound system was with us, we would have. You would never see a better group. You would never see a better show if the sound system was with us. Yeah. But that was like one out of 14 shows. Until we got to a certain level where we knew we could have a good sound, so we bought our own PA and toured with it. But it was like 9-10 years of just like flip a coin, like, is tonight gonna suck? Like, you don't know. And I got tired of that after 15-20 years, and I wanted to make something where we can present it in any fashion. And I said to him, I go, it'd be great to just play hardcore raves, and we could be the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. like, instead of rhythm and sound or dub music, we could be the wind down after people come off the hardcore rave shit. Then you hear 3CK and you just ride out with that till the sun comes up. Who's fucking with that? And you don't even see us. We're in a DJ booth, but he's singing and playing guitar in a DJ booth, and we're just dropping tracks, and it's just like 300 girls like losing their minds, free for 4 hours. They don't have to worry about guys shouting at them in the street or what their fucking boss is going to say to them when they go to work the next day. Like, they can just for 4 hours be literally in the womb. I want to take people into the womb. One big thing I should give the Germans credit for that they taught me was subtractive EQ. I was always an additive guy. My friend Scott Harding always made fun of me. He came to the studio, he was like, so hip hop. Everything was just jacked up, all up. So when I go to Germany, the techno guys, they scoop out all the mid-range of everything, and it gets really ghosted. And I kind of just took that concept further and more aggressive. And when you do that, it opens up this like space in the room, and you just have the sub moving and the top above it. And it was funny because then the modern R&B scene, Beyonce started doing that. I hear that all over Drake's records, Noah 40. Those fucking productions are sick, OVO and all that. And I remember even Justin Bieber records, Diplo, Major Lazer. All of a sudden I was like, Kanye, Yeezus comes out, And I work with my whole clientele right now is 14-year-old to 18-year-old hood rappers. I got Flatbush Bloods coming in, teardrops on their faces. They carry purses, bro. They wear skater clothes. They do white boy drugs. It's not 40s and blunts anymore. They're cool with the gay thing. It's like Basquiat with Andy Warhol all over again. You got A$AP Rocky hanging out downtown with the Vogue mag, Anna Wintour and all that. My guys are all in Soho. They hang out at art galleries, but they get phone calls like, this dude got shot on Flatbush. He's dead. They killed his mom 6 times too. Like, that's real shit, But they're not like our generation. Our generation was, and I'm really inspired by how open they are. It's like they found the femininity too, even though they're hardcore kids. And I think what it is my generation's rap was introducing the world to the hood. But now that we're in the hood, everybody knows how it works. We got the internet. You don't need black people to be the CNN, rap to be the CNN for black people anymore. The internet is the CNN for everybody now. So like, what's happening is these kids are going more introverted. They're more influenced by Marilyn Manson, my guys, than they are Rakim or Eric B. And Chuck D or Biggie, or Tupac. They're into like experimenting, and they're doing white boy drugs. They're doing Percocets and Molly and codeine and mushrooms and acid. So you hear it in the sound now. We're in a psychedelic thug era. And everything I started with Dialect, that's what I wanted to see. I wasn't making hip-hop for the guys that go, I don't even like hip-hop, but Dialect's great, or the fucking Wire magazine readers. Yeah. No, man. I wanted black people to fuck with it. And in the third culture way, I always said, Dialect, when we were doing it, we were too black for the white kids and too white for the black kids. And that's third culture too. So Dialect even had it, but and I always said, I go, someone's going to do what Kurt Cobain did to the Melvins. They're going to take the Beatles kind of pop sensibility, put it on the Melvin sound, and 20 million people are going to be into punk, you know? Someone's going to take Dialect and do that one day. I didn't know it was going to be Kanye. And it was genius. He figured out how to sell our sound to the Disney crowd. And I thought that's what it's about. Brian Wilson is far more dangerous than Syd Barrett. You know, when you listen to fucked Pink Floyd, yeah, it's fucked. When you listen to fucking Good Vibrations, the Christians love it, the grandmothers love it, the grandchildren love it. But if you mute the vocals, the beautiful harmonies, it's the most avant-garde, experimental song. Key change, tempo change. There's a freaking theremin sound on it the first time you ever heard that. I mean, that's My Bloody Valentine, but they're doing it in a way that they sold it to everybody, and nobody thinks about that. You know how much harder it is to be an artist that can do Good Vibrations and sell art to everyone? It's easy for us to play in front of 40 fucking kids every night that are into the same shit we're into, but you got grandkids rocking Yeezus. In my neighborhood in Harlem, they're doing there's distorted beats coming out of sound systems, and 9-year-old girls on the basketball courts doing routines with jump ropes. Like, Dialect didn't have that. That's what I want. I want to hit those girls. You see these girls like with earbuds, they're sharing earbuds, doing routines outside my apartment. You're like, whatever they're listening to, that's the music I want to fucking make, you know? And so in a sense, we can present our music that way, but then I loved it because he's a songwriter, so we can play an acoustic show with no beats, and it would still come off because there's songs inside the sound, you know? So it's an interesting thing. Dialect couldn't do that. Like, we could only play if the PA was loud, and that was it, you know? So that's the roundabout response. I feel like we can present from raves to basketball courts to acoustics, you know, whatever.
The place is almost anywhere.
Anywhere. It's not even about the sound system. It's the songs and the soul of the vibe. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
I want to talk about the history of Third Culture Kings a little bit, because you mentioned moving to Berlin, and I'm assuming that's where you two met.
I moved to New York to try to. I moved to Brooklyn. I know a guy who has a studio there, and I just wanted to get my own music out again. I was playing, and I'm still playing, with a Danish band called Ring Them Bells, and I'm a guitar player for that band, and I'm more of a songwriter, so I wanted to go there to my friend's house in New York and just try to write and maybe record my own songs. And I was writing, and I did record some stuff. But I hit Alap up because, well, the history is that a band that I played with back in the day, Serena Manish from Norway, Alap remixed them, and they were playing in Roskilde, at the Roskilde Festival in Denmark on the same stage. 2006.
It's strange.
My friend Ben introduced us there, and then me and Ben were traveling in
2011 or something.
Yeah, 2011.
I was just back from Berlin and Harlem.
Yeah, and we were in America and in New York, and we hit Alap up, and that's where you told us about your new sound, your new vision.
Everything I just told you in the interview, I was telling to him in bed in my room, screaming at
I've heard it
DJ Rashad, Mike Q, all
I've heard it before,
stuff.
And I was really, when I got back to New York, I hadn't thought about it, but I was like, hey, Alap, I'm going to be in New York for like 3 or 4 months.
And that was 2013.
Yeah.
That was 2 years later.
Yeah, so how far are you with that sound of yours, the bass on bass and the scooping the middle and the highs, and you only hear the bass and the high. And I said, how about I write songs around your sound?
Yeah.
And he said, dude,
have you considered integrating guitar or his style of guitar?
We have guitar. I played guitar on all the tracks.
Exactly. Every song is written with guitar and vocal first.
But a lot of the tracks, a lot of the tracks we've taken the guitar out and replaced it with keyboards that we don't really play, but we figure it out.
Yeah, like whatever chords he was doing on the guitar, we just mimic on a synth part or a sample or whatever, and then we just mute the guitar.
Yeah.
So every song starts with a guitar, and then I find a beat that fits with his like those. He'll literally strum it for like 30 seconds, and I'll pull up a beat on my phone, and then he'll play over it, and he'll be like, yeah, that works, and then we'll just put the beat down and the vocal down.
So there's definitely guitar in there, but it's very stripped. It's not like
No, but I mean, like, as far as 2013, when you guys were talking about the sound.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
away. He just showed
Yeah.
up with the guitar. That's,
Yeah,
that's
so-
how he writes. That's what he is. He's
Yeah,
a
Alap
songwriter.
wrote me straight away. He's like, "Come out and let's talk about it."
Yeah.
I think I just brought my guitar,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we went straight on. I picked out.
First night we did 3 songs.
Yeah, first night we
That
did-
are on the album.
Yeah,
Just done.
and it's a first take. It's even the
One
singing
take.
and the guitar.
Yeah.
And I didn't have lyrics. I didn't have anything. We just went for it. And then he spent like 17 years producing it. I never got to do
Well-
another take on the vocals. But it's fine. It's great. It was immediate. It was a thing that I'd never done before, and I thought, this is how, when the Beatles went into the studio,
Yeah.
this is how even U2 in the 90s, when I used to read about U2 and Depeche Mode, they just went into the studio and they made up their songs there. And I wanted to do that, but we didn't.
For me,
much
it was
time,
just
so
really
it's
hip hop.
like,
You know,
yeah,
like, that's just how hip hop.
You kept
That's how
saying-
you write hip hop.
Yeah.
you look for a beat, and then someone fucks with it, and you just
We
loop
work
the beat
fast.
for an hour, and then everyone smokes, and then someone writes a lyric, it's done. You know.
Yeah.
So we'd work that way with a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I never
vibe.
worked hip hop
It's
before.
amazing.
So that was new.
Yeah,
Jan, we're doing this fast. We're working hip hop.
yeah.
Cool.
He wouldn't
We
have
got-
words.
Yeah.
He would just some parts he would just hum a melody because to keep the melody so he could rewrite it. And I would let him. He would re-record it, but it never felt as good. So you could
Yeah.
hear on the record he's like humming parts that you just hear him like saying like slurring things. and
Words
it's-
are coming
it's
out that aren't even
amazing.
words.
The vibe
Sentences.
is so good though.
But some of the songs I was working on at my friend's house in Brooklyn. So some of those are on the record as well that are kind of written.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah. And then also kind of first take. I really like the
Yeah,
process.
it was a
and-
really fresh approach
Yeah.
for both of us though. It was cool.
What's the name of the album?
What is it?
Is that light you carry?
Yeah, it's that light you carry. I forgot. I don't know.
I always forgot to. That's
Yeah.
why I was kind of pointed at you.
That's why you pointed at me? Bastard.
things that stuck out to me on your Bandcamp page. It says a lot of the production was done on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost all of it. Basically, like I said earlier, like every week. So we met every Tuesday or once a week, basically for like 7 weeks or something like that when he was there in 2013. And what would happen is every week he'd come with a song. He'd literally sit next to me, strum it just like on his electric, just right there, and then I would just like pull up beats that I had saved. So I make like all my beats on my phone, and I'm like all day I'm just sampling stuff. Like I listen to through a DJ app called Algorithm called DJ, and it's got a recorder in it. So I'll just be like a Beatles song will come on, I'll just like slow it down, put it back down, and hit record, and then I'll just like sample it. So I'm constantly cutting samples. Like I'm on the subway, I'm making beats, or like I'm online at the post office and a melody comes to me, I'll pull up a synth app and record a quick line. So I'm just it's like prefabricated parts. Everything's just written. So I probably have I have 3 iPads. They probably have like 30,000 ideas and sketches on them. And then I have 2 iPhones. And they probably have 30. So I have like just thousands of ideas just stored. Like they're just for ready to go. And when I get called to do like a score or an ad job, I'll just go through the phone the night before and just pull aside like maybe these dozen might be possibilities, and I'll whittle it down. There it is. 15-minute executions. I can get every song done in 15 minutes. So we just did that concept with his songs. He'd play, and I just had the kind of some vague idea of beats. Oh, this might work with us. This might work with us. Like maybe 10 held aside, 11, and all 11 held aside worked, and that became the album. And so he would just play. We would just kind of maybe slow the rhythm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he would record direct guitar and 1 mic on his lead vocal, and we'd put that
was
down
in the studio.
In the studio, and then after that, every part was like I said, it had all been pre-done on a phone. So I would just pull. I have hard drives saved with all these files, so I can type in like Guido bass, and then there's like 100 Guidos, or sirens, and like 100 sirens, and they're all just off my voice memo or whatever it is. And I would just build the track around his vocal, and then half the songs would shut off the guitar, half we would use the guitar, whatever worked. And then he, at the meantime, was living out in Brooklyn, and the guy he lives with, if you want to give Gary a shout, because he was
Gary has a mean old school studio, like very indie rock,
like a vintage guy, but like 50s kind of.
Yeah. And he would have instruments all over the place, and I would
weird
want
instruments too.
Weird instruments and just normal instruments,
Yeah,
like
Fender
instruments that I
Rhodes.
didn't even play. Like I don't play keys, but what I would do is I would listen to our music on headphones, and then I would from my computer, and then I would record on voice memo. I would record myself playing piano over things, or Rhodes, or whatever. Like whatever was there, even guitar solos, slide and things, and so that way all the ornaments were also recorded on an iPhone, voice memo basically. So, and we have another record that's ready, and it's basically done in the same way.
So basically, yeah, the lead vocal, the first guitar track, that's the only thing that was recorded really in a studio. Everything else is either a voice memo or some kind of app. Yeah. And then it just gets assembled in a computer and is obviously mixed in a computer. Yeah. So everything's real fast. I don't feel like any song took more than about an hour. Then it would take, the first record we didn't know what we were doing yet. We were finding it, so that there was a lot of overdub, like took a little trial and error. But the second record, we got the formula now. It's like we're just going. Like, wait till you hear the next record.
There's a song on the first record that I recorded on. I was sitting on my bed, and I was just like playing some Beatles chords, and I was like, oh, this is pretty. So I put my phone down and I play the song, and I take it to the studio, and Alap's like, wow, that's nice. I'm like, I just wanted to show him it's like an idea maybe for something. And we were both like, maybe if we slap some kind of effects on it and like tweak it, all of a sudden that is like the first song on the record. And it's just recorded on my bed in Brooklyn on acoustic guitar. Yeah.
And it started out real 60s Beatles and it ended up Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's like a Pet Shop Boys
for the club.
Yeah.
For the strip club. It's like D-Bass.
Yeah.
Is this Sunshine for Sadie?
Yes.
Okay.
No. This is on the new record.
No, but that happened sometime for Sadie.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no, true. This also happened, yeah.
So I actually do want to talk about Sunshine for Sadie because you guys did a video for that.
Yeah.
Which has a black metal dude and his doll. So please tell me about this video because it's amazing.
Yeah, I was. Thank you. Yeah, I was. I'm big into black metal and all sorts of guitar music.
Well, I mean, you're Scandinavian. I wouldn't.
No, exactly.
You'd be weird if you weren't.
I'm 43 and I still have a dream to be in a black metal band one day.
Dude, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it together.
Come back
We'll
to Malaysia
do it our
and,
style.
we'll
Yes,
do it, yeah.
no, of course. It'll be black metal, but very deep bass.
Right.
That's always missing in black
It
metal.
literally is. It literally is missing.
But anyway, so I traveled around the world and ended up right before New York. I ended up in Mexico, and I met these really, really cool guys who invited me to go to a post-rock festival. I'm like, yeah, totally down. And as we're in the festival, they're like, "Do you want some LSD?" I'm like, "No, I don't. You guys go ahead." They're like, "Ah." And on LSD, they were telling me that they were video artists. And they were in such a good mood. And I was like, "Dude, I have a band that has a record coming out. We need a video. Would you guys have time?" They were like, "Yes, let's do it on Thursday or whatever." And in the meantime, I caught like a horrible stomach bug. I was trying to figure out like, okay, so they're gonna be doing a video. What should it be? And that just came to me. I was like, what about a black metal dude on vacation in Mexico City?
For a pet shop is track.
No, exactly.
Great.
Exactly. What is the? How odd would it be if a black metal guy was on vacation in a warm place and everyone's just staring at this guy? They took it a little bit further and they got into like the doll and everything, and they kind of wrote a story. I was a little bit disappointed. They took me to mostly nature places. It was Mexico City. I wanted the big city.
Yeah,
feel.
right.
But
Well,
there is a little bit
works,
of
though.
that.
It
It worked.
works.
Yeah, no, it has
I mean,
both.
you're a black metal guy. You got to go play out in the forest.
Of course. No, but he needs to go to find the head of his doll. That was He woke up and his favorite doll, the head's missing. How creepy is that? So yeah, we had a lot of fun that day shooting. It took one day, and they got all the shots. I went to some really cool places. I showed up at 5 a.m, and I expected that maybe the video guy's girlfriend would do my makeup, but they were like, "Here's makeup." I was like, looking around. I didn't want to ask.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before, but I am an artist also, so I did the makeup for myself. I was mighty proud. And the funny thing was, I thought I looked good. I did. So anyway,
No, it was legit. Like,
yeah,
I've been-
no,
I've been
exactly. I
listening to
didn't.
black metal for more than 20 years, and when I saw that, I was like, dude,
King
somebody knows
Diamond,
this
King
stuff.
Diamond,
Yeah.
too. Beyond black metal.
I actually had. I went on Google and I Googled it because I wanted something to go for, and I had a photo. It does not look like that photo at all, but I got in the vicinity of it. But yeah, but the funny thing
wanna
was
name
also
names?
the
Do you want to name names?
No, because this guy was some.
Okay.
I think Gorgoroth was an influence.
Right.
But this guy was some cheesy dude. I don't even know. Yeah,
That's awesome.
not that it all is, right?
Yeah, it's not, yeah, the whole fucking scene is cheesy. What are you talking about?
But my faves are the Norwegians.
Yeah.
There's also some good stuff coming out now. I'm excited about some of the stuff. But anyway, so the one of the funny things was the guy who actually filmed the video didn't see me ever without makeup until the evening. So he was more freaked out when I came out without makeup. He was like, I was like,
guy?
wait, didn't I just take out my scary makeup? And he started acting weird around me. We like buddied up and were friendly in the day. Now it wasn't so interesting
he-
anymore.
he like the non-makeup
He's like,
young.
yeah, he had to like get to know a new person. That was incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, the best thing was eating some tacos and stuff downtown, and people were like scared of me, like legit. Like they see this this person and they jump. One old woman like shoot her husband out of the way, and she said, "Make way for the mime." The best. They were like, "You know what happened? Like, make way for the mime," and we all like high-fived. It was incredible.
I don't want to cut in and ruin the interview, but like,
This is JR. He's
Yeah.
the label manager for our collective
so Dea,
internet and weed.
so Dea, who does our PR, she's based in Jakarta. We're gonna meet up with her in a couple days, but she was like, "What's that dude Jan like?" And I was like, it's just, white dude plays guitar. What do you mean, like,
Yeah, that's
exactly
me.
what he
Oh,
is.
totally.
Yeah,
That's
like,
yeah, thank you.
and like, and she's like, yeah, 'cause that video, he looks like he's nuts. And I'm like, no, he's totally cool.
Well,
she's
He's
gonna,
not
yeah.
totally cool.
yeah, how long have you known me?
Yeah, that's true. I've only known him like 3 months.
No, exactly.
spent
exactly. Yeah, 3 months.
We spent a month together in New York, and then I met him again yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely know him.
So anyway, I'm not nuts.
It's all right. You guys-
I swear.
Anyways, it was an amazing video, and you did an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
Fought with my thoughts and actions, I was insecure. The light in your eyes would tempt me, but I was undemised. Like to sing in the way that I had been, now I wouldn't mind. Sadness that comes from
So let's talk about the tour that you're on right now. Okay, so this is the first part of the Asian tour?
Yes, this is our first gig. First time we play as 3CK in Asia. You've toured in Asia before.
Only Japan.
Yeah, me
My
too.
first time in Malaysia.
Yeah, me
It's a
too.
beautiful country. And
Yeah.
KL is like maybe one of my favorite cities right now.
Yes,
It's incredible.
We're loving it here.
It's incredible.
I've actually played in the Philippines as well, but yeah, just like a jam show or whatever.
And where are you guys off to next? You mentioned Jakarta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
yeah, where are we going? Where are you taking us?
You can ask the boss.
All right, so tonight's KL. 2 days we're in Ipoh for a festival, and then 2 days later in Penang, and then to Jakarta. So this whole tour, it's a combination of 3CK shows, Alap solo DJ project background audio, Merc yes also, and then Alap and Merc together as MRC Rhythms. We're going to do a couple secret shows. So basically, Jakarta's 2 shows, MRC Rhythm show, and then background audio and Merc yes. So it's more dance nights. And then in Bandung we have a DJ night with the 2 of them, and then the next night is like a band show with Third Culture Kings, Future Collective, this Angara Yesta, and this woman Karina Sokowati. She's a DJ as Haxanai. She's gonna DJ between bands. Then Jogja 3 nights, MRC Rhythms, 3CK, background audio, Merc yes, and then Malang hopefully that's in the works still, and then Bali, and then Alap's going to Taiwan and New Zealand as background audio. Merc and Jan are going back. Yeah. Back, but
It's
yeah.
incredible. And JR, Internet and Weed label boss, also hooked the whole tour up. He booked it, so gotta give him little props on that.
Nice. Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Everything, literally everything. Like I said, my family's from India, so I go back like every 5 to 7 or 8 years. So I have a lot of experience with India, and India might be everybody might have to agree that India might be the craziest country in Asia. So I feel really broken in as far as like I'm not shocked by anything in Asia yet after you go to India a bunch. But I'm actually shocked by how, I don't know, I think we have a very misconception in America about a lot of things, and especially with the Middle East and Asia. And coming here, I'm really blown away. It's just chill. Everybody here is super chill. It's like, I love seeing the Chinese, the Malay, and the Indian sort of connection. I talk to the hotel guy every night. I've been here for 5 nights, and his name is Shiva, and he was breaking down how the Hindus, the Christians, the Muslims, they can celebrate each other's holidays. It's much more integrated than a lot of other areas, a lot of other countries, including the West. And I think it reminds me a lot of New York, how I grew up, and it really makes me happy and almost a little emotional to be here, because another region I really love is Jamaica, the Caribbean, Guyana, Trinidad. All my West Indian homies, shout out. But you know, like it's so amazing when you go to Jamaica and you see Indian, African, Chinese mixes, and they don't consider themselves Indian or African or Chinese. They consider themselves Jamaican, and they're all integrated as one. And New Yorkers are like that. We're all New Yorkers, and we're all proud of where we came from. We don't hide where we came from. It's not like incorrect to be like this Japanese guy or this black chick or that. Everybody in New York is like that, and it's dope. And it's the only place that's like that in the world. And then I come here, and you guys have a micro version of that with 3 cultures. You know, to give you an idea, I tell people this all the time. Queens is written. It's like the most diverse place on earth with 80 religions and 300 languages, just in Queens. I'm not talking about Bronx, Manhattan, shout out Bronx, but you know, Brooklyn, just Queens. So when I came here, I see a micro version of that, and it almost reminds me of a Caribbean country in Asia, and I can fuck with that hard too. So I'm really blown away already, and I've only been here for 5 nights, you know?
And is there anything you want to say to the people coming out to see you guys?
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
thank
out. You mean if people come out to see us? Yes, thank you. If you come out to see us.
Yeah, thanks, and we are approachable.
And,
We're not scary.
and you guys got shirts.
We got-
we have shirts,
buy our
CDs, downloads, cassettes, anything you need. LPs we got, and 7 inches. So,
Thank you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Adrian.